High in the Himalayas, surrounded by tall mountains, there was a peaceful temple. The sun made its golden roof shine. Colorful prayer flags waved gently in the wind. The air felt calm and full of energy. It was a peaceful place, a refuge from the noisy world below.
I had traveled for many days, looking for peace within myself. My troubles weighed me down. My eyes, once full of hope, were now filled with sadness. I had always tried hard to succeed, to be recognized. My days were filled with chasing after something more, but every success left me feeling empty and unhappy. My life felt like a series of missed chances, a string of failures.
The temple, with its peaceful feeling, offered a little bit of hope. Arjun believed that he might find the answers he was looking for in this place. He had heard stories about a wise old monk who lived there, a monk known for his wisdom and kind heart. With a mix of nervousness and hope, Arjun entered the temple hoping to meet the monk. Inside the temple it was cool and dim, a nice break from the strong mountain sun. The stone walls seemed to whisper ancient secrets, and the flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows that played tricks on the eyes. The air smelled of incense, creating a feeling of respect and thoughtfulness. Each breath taken within these sacred walls felt like a step closer to understanding the mysteries of life. Arjun walked through the quiet halls, his footsteps making soft sounds on the stone floor. The echoes seemed to follow him, a reminder of the solitude he felt within his own heart.
I found the monk in a small garden, taking care of some delicate orchids. The garden was a hidden sanctuary, a place where time seemed to stand still, and the worries of the world melted away. He was an old man, his face showing the wisdom of many years spent in meditation and reflection. Each wrinkle told a story, each line a testament to the life he had lived. His eyes, though wrinkled with age, still sparkled with a youthful energy, radiating a deep inner peace. It was as if he had found the secret to eternal youth, not in body but in spirit.
Arjun walked towards the monk slowly, bowing low as a sign of respect. The gesture was not just a formality, but a genuine acknowledgement of the monk's wisdom and serenity. He introduced himself, his voice very quiet. The words seemed to hang in the air, fragile and tentative, as if afraid to break the sacred silence of the temple. He talked about his struggles, about the weight of his failures, and his constant desire for something more. Each word was a confession, a release of the burdens he had carried for so long. He poured out his heart, admitting that he couldn't find happiness or quiet, the restless thoughts in his mind. The more he spoke, the lighter he felt, as if the very act of sharing his pain was a step towards healing. The monk listened patiently, his gaze steady and kind. There was no judgment in his eyes, only a deep understanding and compassion that seemed to envelop Arjun like a warm embrace.
When I finished talking, a heavy silence fell between us. It was not an uncomfortable silence, but one filled with unspoken words and shared understanding. The only sound was the gentle rustling of leaves as a soft breeze moved the branches of a nearby willow tree. The natural symphony seemed to echo the calm that was slowly settling in Arjun's heart.
The monk, his expression unreadable, gestured for Arjun to sit beside him on an old wooden bench. The bench creaked under their weight, a reminder of its age and the many stories it had witnessed. Arjun sat down, his body tense with anticipation, his mind racing with questions. He felt a mixture of hope and fear, wondering if he would finally find the answers he had been seeking. The monk, without saying a word, stood up and slowly walked towards a small stone table. His movements were deliberate, each step taken with a sense of purpose and calm. The garden around him was serene, filled with the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of birds. He came back with 2 cups, one plain and made of clay, the other a delicate porcelain. The contrast between the 2 cups was striking, each representing a different aspect of simplicity and elegance. He put them on the table between them, a peaceful smile on his face. The monk's eyes twinkled with a quiet wisdom, as if he was about to share a profound lesson. From a steaming teapot, the monk started to pour tea. The aroma of the tea filled the air, adding to the tranquility of the moment.
He filled my cup first, the fragrant liquid steaming gently. The warmth of the tea spread through the cup, creating a small cloud of steam that danced in the air. But the monk kept pouring, even as the cup became full. The tea reached the brim, and yet he did not stop. Tea spilled over, flowing onto the table and dripping onto the ground. The liquid formed small rivulets, tracing paths across the stone surface. I watched in surprise, not sure what to do. Finally, I couldn't stay quiet any longer. The sight of the overflowing tea was both mesmerizing and perplexing. "Master," I said, "the cup is overflowing. You have to stop pouring." My voice was filled with urgency, unable to comprehend the monk's actions.
The monk stopped, his hand still holding the teapot over the cup. He seemed to be waiting for something, a moment of realization perhaps. He looked at me, his eyes filled with a gentle wisdom. "Tell me, Arjun," he said softly, "why is the tea spilling?" His question hung in the air, simple yet profound.
Arjun, confused by the simple question, stammered a response. His mind raced, trying to grasp the deeper meaning behind the monk's actions.
"Master, it's overflowing because the cup is full." The words felt inadequate, as if they were missing the essence of the lesson. You keep pouring, but there's no space for the tea to go. The realization began to dawn on him, the metaphor becoming clearer.
The monk nodded slowly, a knowing smile spreading across his face. His eyes sparkled with understanding, as if he had been waiting for this moment. "Indeed, Arjun," he said, his voice calm and steady. "Your mind is like this cup. When it is full of preconceived notions and assumptions, there is no room for new knowledge or insights. You must first empty your cup to make space for learning."
I frowned, trying to understand what the monk meant. My mind, master? What could he possibly mean by that? I had always thought that my mind was my greatest asset, the source of my intelligence and creativity. But now, the monk was suggesting that it was a hindrance. I asked, confusion on my face. I had so many questions swirling in my head, each one more perplexing than the last. How could my mind, the very thing that defines me, be the source of my troubles? What does my mind have to do with a cup of tea that's overflowing? I couldn't see the connection. The monk's teachings were always profound, but this time, I felt completely lost.
The monk pointed to the overflowing cup. His eyes were calm, yet they held a depth of wisdom that I yearned to understand. "You are so full of your own thoughts, your own worries and wishes, that you don't leave room for anything else." His words were simple, yet they struck a chord deep within me. I had never considered that my constant stream of thoughts could be a barrier. You hold on to your past, to your failures, and you are consumed by worries about the future. The monk's voice was gentle, but his message was clear. My mind was a prison, trapping me in a cycle of regret and anxiety. Like this cup, your mind is overflowing, leaving no space for peace, for clarity, for true happiness. The analogy was starting to make sense. My mind was so cluttered with thoughts that there was no room for anything else. You are looking for answers, Arjun, but you are not really open to receiving them. The monk's words echoed in my mind. I had been so focused on finding answers that I had closed myself off to new possibilities. You are like a closed container, unable to be filled because you are already full of yourself. The monk's metaphor was powerful. I realized that my ego, my sense of self, was preventing me from truly understanding and growing.
The monk's words, though gentle, hit Arjun hard. He felt a wave of realization wash over him. It was as if a veil had been lifted, revealing the true nature of his mind. He had never thought of his own thoughts as a problem, as something that could stop him from finding peace. The idea was both shocking and enlightening. He began to see his mind in a new light.
The monk continued, his voice soothing and reassuring. He spoke with a calm authority that made Arjun feel both comforted and challenged. To find peace, Arjun, you must first empty your cup. The monk's words were a call to action. Arjun knew that he had to let go of his old ways of thinking. You must let go of the past, release your hold on your worries and regrets. The monk's advice was clear. Arjun needed to free himself from the chains of his past. Only then can you be open to the present moment, to the beauty and wonder that is all around you. The monk's words painted a picture of a life filled with peace and clarity, a life that Arjun longed for.
Arjun sat in thoughtful silence, thinking about the monk's words. He felt a deep sense of introspection, a desire to change and grow. He realized the truth in the monk's analogy. His mind was indeed like an overflowing cup, and he needed to empty it to find peace. His mind was indeed a stormy sea of thoughts, a constant mix of anxieties and regrets. The realization was both humbling and liberating. He had been so focused on his own flaws, so consumed by his desires, that he had failed to see the beauty of the present moment. Arjun knew that he had to change, to let go of his past and embrace the present.